The Honest Woodcutter. The fable the ego never wanted to read. The first lie in the story is the title. There is no honest woodcutter. There is no dishonest woodcutter. There is no woodcutter at all. The ego invented both adjectives and the profession to make identity look earned, fragile, comparative, and based on behavior. Any character who needs to call himself honest is already dreaming. Integrity does not announce itself. Truth does not brand itself. Purity does not need a label. The honest woodcutter becomes dishonest the moment the label lands, because the label itself is the lie. The axe is not a tool. The axe is the belief in separation. When the axe falls from the woodcutter's hand, the ego tries to make it a punishment or a plot twist. In the deeper reading, it becomes the first miracle moment. The axe falls because nothing needs to be cut. Nothing needs to be earned. Nothing needs to be fixed. The Holy Spirit removes the axe the way a surgeon removes a weapon from a frightened child's hand. Quietly, gently, and without drama. The axe is the mind's favorite cutting device. It cuts the self off from source. It cuts the brother off from the shared mind. It cuts reality into good and bad. It cuts wholeness into fragments. Throwing away the axe is not about losing a tool. It is about letting go of a thought system. The fairy is not a fairy. The fairy is the Holy Spirit wearing a costume. The ego insists she is rewarding honesty, which is the joke. Truth is never earned. Truth is recognized. The fairy arrives to deliver one message. None of the identities in this story are real. The woodcutter was never poor, never lacking, never in danger, never honest or dishonest. These were only costumes worn inside the dream. The gold and silver axes are not temptations. They are reflections. The gold axe represents the inflated ego self. The silver axe represents the improved ego self. The original axe represents the guilty ego self. All three belong to the same illusion. The woodcutter rejects the gold and silver not because of virtue, but because something in him remembers that none of these identities are his. He refuses identification, not reward. Every ego identity is a metal mask. Gilded, polished, tarnished, or ordinary, they all come from the same mistaken thought. The moment the axe leaves his hand, the persona leaves with it. The survival story collapses. The scarcity script dissolves. The small self loses its grip. The Holy Spirit steps forward and says, "Stop calling yourself a woodcutter. Stop calling yourself honest. Stop calling yourself anything at all." The ego reacts in panic, but he is honest. Reward him. Spirit answers with calm certainty. Honesty is not behavior. Honesty is the state of a mind that no longer lies about what it is. Children hear these stories literally, and that literalism becomes the foundation of a world of dualities. They grow up believing morality is behavior instead of identity. They learn virtue as performance instead of awareness. They grow into adults defending illusions they were never meant to carry. The fables were never written to teach ethics. They were written to teach symbolic vision. They were meant to lead the mind out of form. In the deeper reading, the honest woodcutter is not honest. Not a woodcutter. Not even a man. He is a symbol of the mind waking up. He refuses every ego identity offered. He drops the weapon of separation. He sheds the labels. He stops performing virtue. He stops performing lack. He stops performing survival. By doing so, he becomes the mirror that laughs back. The entire story ends not in morality but in recognition. Recognition collapses the illusion. And recognition always brings laughter. The ego is undone not by punishment but by exposure. The fable completes itself when the mind sees the absurdity of believing God hands out prizes for being good. The real treasure is the moment the axe disappears, because the identity that held it disappears with it. This is the mirror. This is the laughter. This is the undoing. This is the light returning to itself.